In the quiet vastness of space, far from Earth, a group of humans aboard the ship *EOS* floated silently near an uncharted star system. The crew had been sent on a mission to explore unknown regions of the galaxy. Among them were Captain Ryan Carter, a calm and thoughtful leader; Laura Bennett, a curious scientist eager to uncover the universe's secrets; Jake Miller, a skilled engineer with a knack for solving problems; and Olivia Hayes, a fearless pilot who could navigate even the trickiest areas of space. One day, as they scanned the area, something unusual appeared on their monitors. A large, dark shape drifted slowly in the distance. At first glance, it looked like a rock or debris, but as they moved closer, they realized it was a ship, an alien ship. Its surface was covered in strange patterns and symbols that glowed faintly in the dim light of a nearby star. It seemed ancient, as though it had been floating there for thousands of years. Captain Carter called everyone to the control room. "This could be important," he said, his voice steady but filled with curiosity. "We need to check it out." The crew prepared for an investigation. Laura grabbed her scanner, Jake double-checked his tools, and Olivia stayed ready at the controls in case they needed to leave quickly. As they boarded the alien vessel, a chill ran through them. The air inside was cold and stale, and the walls seemed to hum faintly, as if alive. Strange lights flickered along the corridors, guiding them deeper into the ship. In one of the main chambers, they found what looked like a control center. Panels lined the walls, covered in unfamiliar symbols. Laura carefully examined the panels while Jake worked on powering up the system. After some effort, the screens came to life, displaying images and text written in the alien language. Though they couldn't understand the words, the visuals told a story. There were pictures of two alien species locked in battle, their ships clashing in fiery explosions. Planets crumbled under massive attacks, and entire civilizations were wiped out. Laura gasped. This is a record of a war," she said, her voice trembling. "A war between two advanced species, and it looks like they destroyed each other." As they continued exploring, they stumbled upon a hidden compartment. Inside, they found detailed blueprints etched onto metallic sheets. These designs showed weapons unlike anything they had ever seen. Some were small enough to fit in a person's hand, while others appeared capable of destroying entire planets. The crew stared at the blueprints in silence, unsure of what to think. Jake broke the silence. "If we take these back to Earth, we could use them to protect ourselves. Imagine having this kind of power." Olivia frowned. "Or imagine the damage we could cause. Do we really want to play with fire like this?" Laura hesitated. She understood both sides. On one hand, the weapons could help humanity defend itself against potential threats. On the other hand, the thought of wielding such destructive power frightened her. What if someone misused it? What if it fell into the wrong hands? Captain Carter stepped forward. "We'll bring these back to Earth," he decided. "But we'll make sure they're handled carefully. This isn't just about us. It's about all of humanity." As they returned to the *EOS*, none of them could shake the feeling that they had uncovered something monumental. They didn't know it yet, but their discovery would change everything, not just for humanity, but for the entire galaxy. When the crew of the *EOS* returned to Earth, their discovery quickly became the center of attention. News of the alien ship and its dangerous weapons spread like wildfire, reaching even the ears of the Galactic Council, a powerful group made up of many intelligent species from across the galaxy. Humanity had only recently joined this council, and now it faced a storm of questions and accusations. Ambassador Nathan Brooks, a tall man with sharp features and a calm demeanor, stood before the council in a grand chamber filled with glowing screens and holographic displays. Representatives from dozens of alien species watched him closely, their expressions ranging from curiosity to outright suspicion. Nathan took a deep breath before speaking. "We didn't seek out this discovery," he began, his voice steady but respectful. "It was purely by chance that we found the alien ship. The weapons within it are not ours. nor do we intend to use them recklessly. However, we believe studying them could help us defend ourselves against future threats. His words did little to ease the tension. A Zorethian representative, a tall, insect-like creature with shimmering green skin, leaned forward. "Your species is young and inexperienced," it said, its voice cold and raspy. "You have no idea what you're dealing with. These weapons are remnants of a war that nearly destroyed the galaxy. Do you truly think you can handle such power?" A Varian ambassador, a being with flowing blue robes and glowing eyes, added, "The Council has worked for centuries to maintain peace. Your actions risk undoing everything we've built. How can we trust you when you bring such danger into our midst?" Nathan tried to reassure them. "We understand your concerns, but humanity isn't looking for conflict. We simply want to ensure our survival." Despite his calm tone, whispers erupted among the council members. Some argued that humanity should be stripped of its council membership, while others suggested placing strict limits on Earth's technological development. Meanwhile, back on Earth, things were growing chaotic. President Clara Dawson called an emergency meeting with her advisors, including General Adam Foster, a gruff man with years of military experience, and Dr. Emily Shaw, a soft-spoken scientist who specialized in alien cultures. The room buzzed with tension as they debated what to do next. "We can't ignore the potential of these weapons," General Foster insisted, slamming his fist on the table. "If we don't prepare ourselves, we'll be sitting ducks. Other species won't hesitate to attack if they see us as weak." Dr. Shaw shook her head. "Using these weapons would make us just as bad as those who created them. We need to focus on diplomacy, not destruction. If we start arming ourselves, it will only escalate tensions." President Dawson listened carefully, her mind racing. She knew both sides had valid points, but she also felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on her. Humanity's place in the galaxy hung in the balance, and every decision carried enormous risks. As the debate continued, troubling rumors began to surface. Someone, possibly a spy, had leaked classified information about Earth's plans to study the alien weapons. Now, news outlets around the world were reporting on secret experiments taking place in remote space stations. Protesters gathered outside government buildings, holding signs that read "No to War" and "Protect Peace." Public opinion was divided, with some calling for stronger defenses and others demanding transparency and caution. In the middle of all this chaos, Laura Bennett struggled with her conscience. She had been part of the team that discovered the weapons, and now she wondered if she had made the right choice bringing them back to Earth. Late one night, she met with Dr. Shaw to discuss their options. "What if we destroy the blueprints?" Laura asked quietly. "Would that stop everything?" Dr. Shaw sighed. "It might slow things down, but people already know about the weapons. Once the idea is out there, it's hard to put it back in the box. What we need is a way to show the galaxy, and ourselves, that we can be trusted." Laura nodded slowly, though doubt still lingered in her mind. Humanity had taken its first step into the wider universe, but whether it would lead to progress or disaster remained uncertain. The tension on Earth continued to grow as the debate over the alien weapons consumed every level of society. President Clara Dawson spent long hours in meetings, trying to find a way to calm both her people and the Galactic Council. But no matter what she said or did, the divide only seemed to deepen. On one side were those who believed humanity needed to prepare for war, and on the other were those who feared that preparing for war would bring it closer. General Adam Foster was one of the loudest voices calling for action. He argued that humanity couldn't afford to be naive. "Out there," he often said, pointing to the stars, "there are species far older and more powerful than us. If we don't arm ourselves now, we'll regret it when they come knocking." His words resonated with many, especially after news broke of secret experiments testing the alien blueprints. Military leaders claimed these tests were necessary to understand the technology, but critics accused them of rushing toward conflict. Dr. Emily Shaw, however, refused to stay silent. She traveled across the globe, giving speeches and writing articles to warn against the dangers of militarization. These weapons weren't created to protect, they were designed to destroy, she told crowds at universities and public forums. If we start down this path, we risk becoming exactly what we're afraid of, a threat to peace. Despite her efforts, Dr. Shaw found herself fighting an uphill battle. Many saw her as idealistic, someone who didn't understand the harsh realities of the galaxy. Even some of her colleagues began to distance themselves from her, fearing association with her views might harm their careers. Amid the chaos, Laura Bennett grew increasingly uneasy. She had returned to Earth hoping to contribute to humanity's future, but instead, she felt like she had unleashed something dangerous. One evening, while reviewing data from the alien ship, she noticed something strange, a pattern in the symbols etched onto the blueprints. It looked like a warning, though she couldn't be sure. Determined to learn more, she reached out to Dr. Alan Park, a fellow scientist who specialized in ancient languages. Dr. Park agreed to meet her in a quiet lab late at night. Together, they pored over the symbols, piecing together fragments of meaning. After hours of work, they uncovered a chilling message. Asterisk, beware the cycle of destruction. Those who wield this power will sow their own ruin. Asterisk. Laura stared at the translation, her heart sinking. This changes everything, she whispered. We can't let anyone use these weapons, not even to defend ourselves. Dr. Park nodded solemnly. I agree, but telling people won't be enough. The military is already too invested. They'll see this as just another obstacle to overcome. Laura knew he was right. Desperate for allies, she turned to Dr. Shaw, sharing what she had discovered. Dr. Shaw listened intently, her expression grave. This could be our chance to stop them, she said. But we'll need proof, something undeniable, to show the world what's at stake. As the two women worked together, Olivia Hayes watched from afar. Once a vocal supporter of caution, she had grown quieter since returning to Earth. The weight of her role in uncovering the weapons weighed heavily on her. When she learned about Laura and Dr. Shaw's plan, she hesitated. Could they really make a difference, or would their actions only make things worse? One night, as she lay awake thinking, Olivia made up her mind. If humanity was going to survive, it needed to choose wisely. And if that meant risking everything to expose the truth, then so be it. The next morning, she joined Laura and Dr. Shaw, ready to fight for a better future, even if it meant standing against her own government. Time was running out. The experiments were progressing faster than anyone realized, and whispers of a potential arms race echoed through the galaxy. Humanity stood at a crossroads, and the decisions made in the coming days would shape its destiny forever. The fragile peace that had settled over Earth was shattered one fateful morning when alarms blared across the planet. A scout ship from the Krill, a reclusive and powerful alien race, had entered Earth's solar system without warning. Humanity's defense satellites, programmed to respond to unidentified vessels, fired automatically. Though no serious damage was done, the incident sent shockwaves through both Earth and the Galactic Council. President Clara Dawson immediately called an emergency meeting with her advisors. General Adam Foster paced the room, his face red with anger. "This is exactly why we need those weapons," he shouted. "If the Krill are testing us, we can't afford to look weak." Dr. Emily Shaw disagreed. "Firing on them was a mistake," she said firmly. "We should reach out and explain what happened. It could have been a misunderstanding." Before they could decide on a course of action, the Krill responded. Their massive fleet moved closer to Earth, surrounding the planet with an imposing presence. A message arrived, broadcast in a language the humans struggled to understand at first. When translated, it demanded answers and reparations for the attack on their scout ship. Ambassador Nathan Brooks stepped forward to handle communications. He carefully crafted a response, apologizing for the incident and explaining it was an automatic response, not an act of aggression. The Krill, however, remained unconvinced. They insisted on direct negotiations, and made it clear they would not leave until satisfied. Tensions escalated quickly. News of the standoff spread worldwide, sparking panic among the population. Some called for surrender, while others urged resistance. Military bases went on high alert, and General Foster pushed for a preemptive strike against the Krill fleet. "They're just waiting for an excuse to crush us," he argued. "If we hit them first, we might stand a chance." Laura Bennett watched the chaos unfold with growing dread. She knew that any aggressive move would only make things worse. Desperate to find a solution, she reached out to Ryan Carter and Olivia Hayes. Together, they devised a risky plan. Send a small shuttle directly to the Krill flagship to deliver a personal apology and offer proof of humanity's peaceful intentions. When Laura presented the idea to President Dawson, the leader hesitated. "It's too dangerous," she said. "If something goes wrong, it could mean war." But Laura refused to back down. "If we don't try, we'll lose anyway," she insisted. "Let me go. I was part of the team that found the alien ship. If anyone can explain our side, it's me." After much debate, President Dawson agreed. Accompanied by Ryan and Olivia, Laura boarded the shuttle and set course for the Krill fleet. As they approached the towering ships, their hearts pounded with fear and uncertainty. The Krill allowed them to dock, but the atmosphere aboard the flagship was tense. Tall, sleek beings with glowing eyes stared down at them, their expressions unreadable. Laura stepped forward, holding up a data tablet containing records of Earth's decision to dismantle the alien weapons. "We're sorry for what happened," she said, her voice steady despite her nerves. "We didn't mean to harm you. We're still learning how to live peacefully in this galaxy." For a long moment, the Krill said nothing. Then one of them spoke. "Your actions speak louder than words. Prove your sincerity, or face the consequences." Though the outcome remained uncertain, Laura felt a flicker of hope. Humanity's survival depended not on weapons or strength, but on trust, and earning that trust would take everything they had. The closer humanity came to completing its experiments with the alien weapons, the more divided it became. Protests erupted in cities worldwide, with people demanding transparency and peace. Some called for an end to the research altogether, while others argued that stopping now would leave Earth vulnerable. Amid this turmoil, Laura Bennett worked tirelessly alongside Dr. Emily Shaw to gather evidence that could expose the dangers of the weapons. They knew they needed something undeniable, something that would force the world to listen. One evening, as Laura sifted through data in a dimly lit lab, she noticed something strange. A series of encrypted files had appeared on the system linked to the project. At first glance, they seemed unrelated, but when she decrypted them, her blood ran cold. The files contained communications between high-ranking officials and someone outside Earth's government. Someone was leaking classified information about the weapons program, and not just to other humans. The messages were addressed to representatives of the Krill, a powerful alien race known for their strict views on galactic order. Laura immediately shared her findings with Dr. Shaw. "This is bigger than we thought," she said, her voice trembling. "Someone inside our own team is feeding information to the Krill. If they find out how far along we are, it could mean war." Dr. Shaw frowned, her mind racing. "We need to figure out who's behind this. Whoever it is, they're putting all of us at risk." Determined to uncover the truth, Laura began investigating further. She traced the source of the leaks back to none other than Dr. Alan Park, the same scientist who had helped her decode the alien warning. Shocked and confused, she confronted him in his office late one night. "Why are you doing this?" she demanded, holding up the evidence. Her hands shook as she spoke. "You know what these weapons can do. How could you betray us?" Dr. Park sighed deeply, his face etched with guilt. "I'm not trying to hurt anyone, Laura. I leaked the information because I believe the Krill are right. Humanity isn't ready for this kind of power. Look at what's happening here. Our leaders are rushing into disaster without thinking about the consequences. Maybe the Krill stepping in is exactly what we need." Laura stared at him, torn between anger and sadness. You think betraying your own species will fix things. You're wrong. This isn't about protecting humanity. It's about fear. Fear of making mistakes, fear of growing stronger. But if we don't learn to handle responsibility, we'll never survive out here. Dr. Park didn't respond, but his silence said enough. Laura left the room feeling hollow. She wanted to report him, but she knew it wouldn't solve anything. Exposing him might stop the leaks temporarily, but it wouldn't address the deeper issue, the mistrust and division tearing humanity apart. That night, Laura met with Olivia Hayes and Dr. Shaw to share what she'd learned. Olivia listened quietly, her expression unreadable. When Laura finished speaking, she leaned forward, her eyes sharp. "If we want to stop this madness, we have to act fast," Olivia said. "But going public won't be enough. We need to show the world, and the Krill, that humanity isn't beyond saving." Together, the three devised a plan. Using the evidence Laura had gathered, they would create a secure transmission detailing everything. The discovery of the alien ship, the warnings encoded in its blueprints, and the ongoing experiments. They would send it not only to Earth's leaders, but also directly to the Galactic Council and the Krill fleet monitoring nearby space. It was a risky move. If intercepted, it could escalate tensions even further. But they saw no other choice. As dawn broke over the horizon, Laura sat at her computer, finalizing the message. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard as doubt crept into her mind. Was she doing the right thing? Could this truly prevent disaster, or was she making matters worse? Taking a deep breath, she hit send. For better or worse, humanity's fate was no longer in their hands alone. The transmission sent by Laura, Dr. Shaw, and Olivia spread like wildfire across the galaxy. Within hours, Earth's leaders were scrambling to respond. The Galactic Council called an emergency session, and the Krill fleet, which had been silently observing Earth from a distance, moved closer. Tensions rose as humanity braced itself for what might come next. President Clara Dawson faced immense pressure. Military advisors urged her to deny everything, claiming the leaked information could be twisted to make Earth look guilty. "We can't let them think we're weak," General Foster argued. "If we admit fault, they'll see it as an invitation to attack." But President Dawson knew denial wouldn't work. The evidence was too clear, and the entire galaxy had seen it. Instead, she decided on a bold move. She would address the Galactic Council directly, and invite the Krill to hear her words as well. It was a risky gamble, but she believed honesty might be humanity's only chance to avoid war. In the days leading up to the address, chaos reigned on Earth. Riots broke out in major cities, with some people demanding peace while others called for retaliation against the Krill. Conspiracy theories spread online, accusing the government of betrayal or incompetence. Amid the turmoil, Ryan Carter, the captain of the *EOS*, reached out to Laura and her group. He had returned to Earth after hearing about their plan and wanted to help. "We can't let fear dictate our actions," Ryan said firmly during one of their secret meetings. "If we want to prove we're worthy of trust, we need to show courage, not just in words, but in deeds." Inspired by his determination, Laura, Dr. Shaw, and Olivia joined forces with Ryan to prepare for the worst. They knew that even if President Dawson succeeded in calming the situation, there were still factions within humanity who wouldn't back down easily. Secret military bases continued working on the alien weapons, ignoring orders to halt development. General Foster himself seemed determined to push forward, believing Earth needed protection at any cost. Finally, the day arrived. President Dawson stood before the Galactic Council, flanked by Ambassador Nathan Brooks. Holographic screens displayed representatives from countless species, their expressions unreadable. In another corner of the chamber, a massive Krill warship loomed ominously, its crew watching intently. "Humanity made a mistake," President Dawson began, her voice steadied, despite the weight of the moment. "We found something dangerous and allowed fear to guide our decisions. But we are learning. We have dismantled the experiments using the alien technology, and we pledge to never pursue such weapons again." Her words hung in the air as silence filled the room. Then, unexpectedly, a representative from the Krill stepped forward. Its sleek, metallic form shimmered under the light as it spoke in a deep, resonant tone. "Your admission is rare among young species. Most would cling to pride rather than truth. However, your actions will determine whether this gesture holds meaning." The Krill demanded proof. Earth had to surrender all data related to the alien weapons and allow inspections of its facilities. If any trace of the research remained hidden, the consequences would be severe. President Dawson agreed without hesitation, knowing it was the only way to regain trust. Back on Earth, the decision sparked outrage among some groups. General Foster openly defied the order, refusing to shut down certain projects. "They're walking us straight into submission," he shouted during a heated meeting. But when news of his defiance reached the public, support for him crumbled. Even members of his own team turned against him, unwilling to risk further conflict. As inspectors arrived from the Galactic Council, Laura, Ryan, and their allies worked behind the scenes to ensure compliance. They visited hidden labs, destroying prototypes and erasing files. Each step felt like pulling humanity back from the edge of disaster. Yet, uncertainty lingered. Though the immediate threat of war seemed to fade, the scars of mistrust remained. Humanity had taken a step toward redemption, but rebuilding its reputation would take time, effort, and unwavering commitment. For now, though, the stars above offered a glimmer of hope. In the weeks that followed President Dawson's address, humanity entered a new chapter. The inspections by the Galactic Council and the Krill revealed no hidden weapons or secret experiments, at least none that remained intact. Thanks to Laura, Ryan, and their allies, every trace of the alien technology had been dismantled or destroyed. Earth's leaders breathed a collective sigh of relief as the Krill finally withdrew their fleet, though they left behind a small monitoring station as a reminder of their watchful presence. For Laura, the end of the crisis brought mixed emotions. On one hand, she felt proud of what they had accomplished. Humanity had avoided war and proven it could take responsibility for its actions. But on the other hand, she couldn't shake the memory of Dr. Alan Park's betrayal. His belief that humanity wasn't ready for such power haunted her. Was he right? Had they only delayed the inevitable? One evening, as she stood on a balcony overlooking the city, Ryan joined her. "You did good," he said simply, leaning against the railing. "Not everyone gets a chance to change the course of history." Laura smiled faintly but didn't respond. She knew Ryan was trying to comfort her, but the weight of everything they'd been through still pressed heavily on her mind. "Do you think we've really changed?" she asked after a moment. "Or are we just pretending until the next crisis comes along?" Ryan hesitated before answering. "Maybe both," he admitted. "But I like to believe we're learning. Every mistake is a step forward, if we let it be." Meanwhile, the Galactic Council issued a formal statement acknowledging Earth's efforts to make amends. While some species remained skeptical of humanity's intentions, others expressed cautious optimism. Ambassador Nathan Brooks worked tirelessly to rebuild trust, hosting diplomatic meetings and cultural exchanges designed to show Earth's willingness to cooperate. Slowly but surely, humanity began carving out a place for itself among the stars, not as warriors, but as learners. Back on Earth, public opinion shifted dramatically. People who had once called for militarization now spoke openly about the importance of peace and unity. Schools introduced programs focused on interstellar diplomacy, teaching children about the delicate balance required to coexist with other species. Even General Foster, disgraced and sidelined, faded into obscurity, his fears replaced by a growing hope for the future. Dr. Emily Shaw became a symbol of this new era. Her speeches and writings inspired millions, reminding them that survival wasn't just about strength. It was about wisdom, compassion, and understanding. Together with Laura and Olivia, she founded an organization dedicated to studying alien cultures and promoting peaceful exploration. Their work attracted scientists, artists, and thinkers from around the globe, all eager to contribute to a brighter future. As months turned into years, humanity's presence in the galaxy grew stronger. Trade routes opened, alliances formed, and knowledge flowed freely between worlds. Earth's leaders learned to listen more than they spoke, earning respect rather than demanding it. And while challenges remained, disagreements arose, misunderstandings flared. The lessons of the past guided them toward resolution instead of conflict. One day, Laura found herself back aboard the HFY, now repurposed as a vessel for exploration rather than defense. As she gazed out at the endless expanse of stars, she felt a sense of purpose she hadn't known before. Humanity's journey was far from over, but for the first time, she truly believed they were heading in the right direction. The galaxy was vast and full of mysteries, but so was humanity. Together, they would face whatever came next, not with fear, but with courage. And in that courage lay the promise of a better tomorrow.